I never liked long drives, but Mark did, so when he suggested a weekend trip to visit his childhood friend Marcus, I agreed. I smiled, but it didn't reach my eyes. He called it a reset. Maybe we needed one. Our marriage wasn't broken, just dulled. We were polite, functional, but distant. I missed the way he used to look at me like I mattered. Hey, he replied, soft voice low and steady. Jaden disappeared, headphones on. I stood by the window, sipping weak coffee, watching the yard. I felt like background furniture in my own life. When we arrived, the sun stretched over Marcus's old one-story house, its windows dusty, the basketball hoop cracked. I changed into leggings and a tee while the men laughed in the other room. Jaden entered, moved quietly, like part of the silence. Our eyes met for a moment. I looked away first. I stared at the ceiling in the dark. Then I heard soft, slow footsteps outside the door. I wandered into the den and tried reading, but my mind drifted. They paused. My heart raced. Nothing happened. I waited. Then got up and locked the door, not out of fear, just unease. At dinner, I said little. I didn't know the names, the jokes. Jaden sat across from me quiet, still, always watching. Not flirting, just present, like he noticed everything. You do okay here? Marcus asked. I should have stood, changed the subject, walked away. But I didn't. Mark lit up, his face full of boyish excitement. Marcus greeted him with a booming laugh and lifted him in a hug, maybe 20. Hoodie, joggers, quiet steps. His skin was a warm brown, expression unreadable. But when he looked at me, his eyes didn't just glance. I told myself I'd stay busy, walk, read, keep my distance. They lingered, no touch, no line crossed, but inside, everything shifted. He stopped in the hallway, eyes fixed on me. He took a few slow steps forward. I didn't stop him. But I didn't feel anything either. Come back anytime, he said, not guilt. Our eyes met one last time, still holding that one look. That moment, no words, no smile, just that look again, heavy, silent, final. Not even regret, just quiet, like something had ended. Or begun. Then Marcus called out, Jaden, come say hey, not something I'd ever confess. But it was mine, a secret, a reminder. A tall, lean young man appeared. He stood, paused in the doorway, looked back once. And left. Hi, I said, offering my hand. He took it briefly. We moved to the guest room, where I had slept alone the last nights. There was no rush, no chaos, just slow, quiet movements, intentional, intimate. Mark was laughing, animated, full of stories. No one noticed the shift in me. Jaden came in later. We didn't exchange glances, but the air between us said everything. It wasn't lust, it wasn't betrayal, it was something else, presence, attention, a feeling I hadn't known in so long. Mark and Marcus quickly dove into old stories and beers. The guest room was small and smelled faintly of pine. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that hallway glance, so brief, yet it stayed with me. I woke early, the house was still. Marcus made coffee, Mark still asleep. Later, Marcus and Mark left for supplies. We both nodded. Jaden's eyes flicked to me once before disappearing down the hallway. When they were gone, the house felt wider, emptier. I picked up a book, set it down. Checked my phone, no messages. Then I looked up. Jaden stood in the doorway, watching me. Hey, he said softly. Hi, I replied, voice barely there. He leaned on the wall. Did you sleep okay? Not really, he nodded, like he already knew. You seemed restless, he said, taking a step closer. I felt it, the air felt thick. What are you thinking? I asked him. He smiled faintly. Nothing I should be saying. Then he knelt beside me, eyes locked on mine. You don't have to say anything, he whispered. He stood, gave me one last look, and walked away. The next day, Mark and Marcus headed out again. But I didn't move. Jaden appeared, quiet as ever. You don't have to do anything, he said, voice soft. I know, I whispered, then reached for him. He touched me like I was something fragile, something real. Afterward, he sat at the edge of the bed. I lay still, facing the wall. I showered, dressed, and joined the others. That night, I lay beside Mark. He reached for me in his sleep. I didn't pull away. When we packed to leave, Marcus hugged us. Jaden stood in the doorway, hands in his pockets. The car ride home was quiet. Mark talked about traffic and how we should visit again soon. I nodded along, smiling when he smiled, but in my mind, I was still back in that room. It wasn't a mistake that, even after everything, I could still feel.